Hey everybody, welcome back to hayfrosells. My name is Jeff and I am still optimistic. I had a good 2 days, nice weekend break. I'm going to talk about some sales that I've had, and I'm going to just talk about some things that have happened over the weekend, and we'll go from there. So yesterday, on Saturday, I did $76 on eBay, but $160 local. So it's nice to see that the fruits of the labor of diversifying outside of eBay and trying to sell things more locally is kind of starting to pay off. You're going to see the items that sold. I did a clip of that on Friday night because I knew that these guys were coming Saturday and I didn't want to make a bunch of small clips. So you're going to get to see what sold there. And I was surprised that all 5 sales did go through, because normally it doesn't always happen like that. So, on eBay, I sold a blend of a book, a comic, some buttons, and some patches. $76 isn't great, but making it up offline sales, we got to do something. And then today, it was just the opposite. I did $412 today on eBay. Most of that is from a $300 sale for some a furniture, like a Hello Kitty shelf, and then the other 112 were just a blend of hair tonic, some comics, a magazine, a hat, and a manga book. So no local sales today. But I was in contact with people, and I've already got like another $100 in sales lined up for tomorrow and Tuesday, spread out between the day. Depends on when I'm going to get a chance to meet up with this one guy. But things are, every day I am getting more and more interest in the items that I am choosing to list either only locally or cross-listing, I guess you could say. And what was interesting was the 5 items that I sold yesterday, 4 of them were on eBay. They were on eBay, and either they're not being seen, or, it's just a chance that they were in demand locally or that the people wanted it, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm going to show you the 3 items right now that I got interest in and that people are going to be buying. This is tomorrow. This is just a hat. Nothing special about it, except it's pretty super awesome logo. And this is going to sell for $25 locally. I had it listed. And these 3 items that I'm showing you right now that I'm going to be selling they were all on eBay, and I took them all down. This is a Vancouver Grizzlies. I think it's a pillowcase, vintage. And I had this listed on eBay as well. And for those of you who don't know, the Vancouver Grizzlies were a basketball team in Vancouver. I don't really remember. I wasn't around then. But they have a very passionate fan base. And I listed this. This had been on eBay for a couple months. Didn't sell. And then somebody found my ads and they wanted to buy it. So they're going to be picking that up tomorrow. And then this thermostat. Now I can kind of understand why this one might have sold locally, because it's going to be bumped up into the heavier shipping. So the hat was $25. The Grizzlies pillowcase is going to be $20, and this is going to be $35. I mean, I can kind of understand this, finding a market locally versus, almost knocked over my stand. But that sold for $35 as well. So, is going to sell. So those are just a few of the odds and ends that I'm in discussion with for tomorrow. Hey guys, I'm filming this still Friday night. My headache has lifted a little bit. I think the remedy was profits. I want to show you. So I was talking on the last video about having some sales potentially lined up for tomorrow, which will be Saturday, but depending on when you see this. I wanted to show you this assortment of items and talk about the prices. I miss sharing, you know, what sold. And, you know, I'm choosing not to do that right now because I feel like having a YouTube channel is a blessing and a curse. I feel like you can be the target of, I don't know why. I really don't know why. Like I try not to bother anybody on these channels, and and that's another reason. That is yet another reason of why it's so important to have your own website. I'm slowly coming around. I'm basically talking myself into this. So anyhow, let's show you. So I've got like $160 in potential sales tomorrow, which is phenomenal in terms of for local sales. Like that's, and there's 5 different ones. 4 of the 5 were on eBay. The one I never listed on eBay, and I'll explain why. So the first one is this vinyl figure Revoltech Yamaguchi series number 073 Gloomy. I bought this out of a lot. I got so many different kind of figures of these things. I don't even know exactly what this is. Look at this. He's got like a muzzle on, and you know, I basically took pictures. I don't even know if it's 100% complete. I had this and this pretty awesome wallet, and I got these separately actually, which is ironic. But both of these for $50. Just super happy to take these down from eBay. A Barbie, no surprise here. I actually have 2 of these, and this one is actually missing some of the accessories, and I know this because the other one has it, so I'm getting 20 out of that. This was the item, the water pick. It was my daughter's. And they recently moved, and they probably were just going to donate it. And they said, you know, it's only been used a couple times. There's brand new of these things inside it. That's going to sell for $25. This Herschel laptop bag, had this listed on eBay. Someone's going to come tomorrow and pick this up for $20. Got that from my other daughter, who was just getting rid of stuff, and I always tell them, let me go through the stuff that you're gonna donate before you donate it. And yeah, and then this really cool, it's a print, it's wooden, it's of Vancouver, it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's by Kif Holland, 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 and this is going to be going out tomorrow for $45. And I actually had this on eBay because it would have been easy to ship, but I am really trying to make a concentrated effort not to list big things on eBay anymore. It's just, it's too much. Like shipping and handling, multiple increases per year. You have to start thinking long term in reselling world, and if it's not yielding you a couple $100s in profit, or I don't know, this is just my thinking. This is just because, you know, things sit, price increases continue to rise, the shipping and handling stays the same on my site. You know, it's inflation continues to eat into our bottom line. So I'm just, that's another one of my pivots, is really trying to, if I'm sourcing larger items, to just sell them locally. But I haven't even gotten to Saturday yet. 5 sales lined up for a total 160. That's encouraging. You know, it's almost like normally I'm doing 160 to 270. Well, maybe 2 to 270 on eBay every day. But now if I make $100 a day on eBay, I feel like Cassini shone on me, right? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to be positive, trying to be optimistic, and I wanted to share these things with you, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. And if any of these don't sell, because I'm probably not going to be uploading this video until Sunday, now that I think about it, I will let you know if any of these do not sell, and I will let you know what else sells. And then I got contacted on Marketplace by a woman in California who I think wants to buy this painting that I showed you guys that my wife did. Let me see. I think this is going to sell for $150. This is called Daybreak After a Rough Night. I don't actually tell my wife this, but I always love her titles of her pieces. She always has a way of coming up with really nice titles. Now, I don't know what's going to happen yet. I don't want to tell her because I don't want to get her hopes again after that Facebook scam that happened earlier in the week where, you know, she thought she was going to sell her first piece, but he just ended up being a scammer. So, but this isn't the first time that somebody from quite a ways away, like I had a gentleman from Arizona find me on Marketplace and buy a painting off of me, which I just thought was super cool. I've had people from the East Coast buy things before, so I don't know if it's a scam yet. They haven't done anything shady, but we'll see. But if that sells, then that's going to be $150 for that. And I guess this is a good opportunity to show her a few of her other pieces that she just kind of finished. Now, I'm never trying to sell you guys anything, but if you do see, and basically my wife has made it pretty clear that everything is for sale in her spouse support reseller video. But yeah, you know, you can just, if you ever see anything, my email's in there, you can just, you know, hit me up and, you know, we'll work something out. So this is something that she did. This is Mountain Pass. This is acrylic on canvas. This one is Moonlight Race. Man, that's awesome. And then this one is Serene Sea. I mean, I really don't know what to price these at, to be honest with you. I am going to be listing them on eBay, and I will be listing them locally. I'm thinking somewhere around $30 to $40, you know, the time that it does take, and, you know, but I'm flexible, guys. I was speaking with a friend of mine, a fellow reseller, on Friday or Saturday, and he was telling me how he got an offer for something for $60, and his asking price was $130. And he declined it because his price was the lowest one out there. And tell me if you've been in this position where you know that your item is the cheapest and in the best condition. Because, you know, I sell in a lot of collectibles, and so condition makes all the difference, especially like with comics, but really with anything, right? So it is so frustrating when you get an offer on something that is already the lowest price because of low sales. So how many of you have felt the need to accept just to get sales, just to accept a lower price, you know, and I've been guilty of it. And I mean, just tonight, I sent an offer out, and then he countered, and then I countered because his counter was like, there does come a point where I'm just like, no. And it does feel good to kind of put your foot in the sand and be like, you know, this is my bottom line, even at the cost of not making that sale, just because you know that yours is kind of like the best price out there. And I feel that it could be a combination of a couple things, but I think a lot of it has to do with the search out there, that people just aren't being able to, they're looking for something, and your results either aren't coming up for various reasons that we've already talked about on this channel, that I'm not going to get into that today, because I'm in a good mood right now. But I was thinking about this and how this doesn't really make any sense from eBay's perspective. Like, why would they want us to accept lower prices? Why would they not want your items to be seen in the search? And it's basically I feel that it's causing a lot of people to cross-list and to, you know, just stop selling certain things on eBay, which again is actually going to hurt them. So whatever they're doing is hurting them. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I kind of just wanted to see what your guys' experience are. Are you finding that you're accepting a lot lower offers just to create some sales, to hope to please Cassini, and hopefully, you know, that algorithm will send you more traffic? And I mean, I for one don't particularly like working for less, doing all the work that comes along with reselling, and then getting a lower price out of it. That's why sometimes it's so satisfying that something just sells locally. It's like I don't have to package it. And a lot of the times the prices are not, yeah, sometimes I'll accept a little bit lower, but I'm not paying the eBay fees. I'm not paying the promoted listing fees. And it's extremely satisfying. I was deleting and sell similar a few items. I do that every few days, and I just kind of like do maybe 25 or 50 listings. I have a ton of listings, so I don't particularly like, when I'm messing with listings, I don't like to do 200 at a time, in case, I know James over at My Boring Reseller Life, he's been saying that when he deletes, then he goes to sell similar, that a lot of times some of the item specifics have been messing up or pictures are missing. I have not seen that issue. I also think that he probably does a lot at once. And I actually kind of stopped doing it for a couple of days when I heard that he was having issues. I've not had any issues. Have you guys had any problems with deleting listings and then sell similar, and then you've been? Because yeah, I'm curious to see if any of you guys are having that issue. But when I was doing that on Saturday, I got an error message when I was trying to relist like this vintage halogen light. I bought a bunch of them in like a lot, and it gave me an error message that said something to the effect of that you can't relist this. And I was like, something. It was like basically they're not allowed to be sold on eBay, or they're not allowed to be sold at all. I'm asking the audience. I looked it up online, and it does look like some sort of law went into effect at the beginning of August. And I maybe haven't relisted any bulbs since then. And then it got me super paranoid. So I like went into my listings and I just took all my halogen lights down, because I'm just like, have I just been lucky that the bots haven't seen me? As I'm saying that, I'm like picturing from the Matrix. I'm picturing those I don't even know those mechanical machines that are kind of like driving around. I'm picturing those as like the bots that are like in the virtual eBay world, scanning people's listings and trying to look for things that they can take down. But does anybody know if we are or aren't allowed to sell halogen light bulbs? And I'm literally afraid to, I'm trying to like not call into eBay now, because I'm super paranoid that they're going to look at how many times I've called in the past and be like, oh, you know what, you've poked the bear too much. And that's kind of sad too, really, because anytime I've ever called them, I really just want clarification to try to be a better seller. And, hearing things about other people have been threatened because they've called in too much to eBay, that just shouldn't be happen. And I want to talk about something that happened today, which is kind of encouraging, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for all you guys. And so I have to give, again, you guys, thanks for the community that we've built here. I'm just a normal guy, and for some reason, people have gravitated to this platform because they feel like they're not alone, and they kind of feel like, you don't know how many times I've gotten messages, comments, emails about people, feeling like thankful to have found this place because they thought they were going crazy when their business has just fallen off a cliff and they're not doing anything different. And that alone tells me that it's not you, it's not me, it's not our items, it's not our item specifics, it's not our titles, it's not whether we have a crappy or a high sell-through rate. Just something is has changed right now, and eBay is going through a period where hopefully they sort it out. But the person behind e-commerce bites, the website, and I didn't know who they were. I literally read an article about it. The article was talking about how eBay was losing buyers over the last couple years. And this was like maybe a month and a half ago. I did a video about that, and I was there was a big discussion around that. We were talking about, how eBay is bleeding buyers, which is going to actually cause more sellers to leave. Anyhow, the couple that are behind e-commerce bites, Ina Ina. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. And then I just found out literally a couple days ago kind of about that whole eBay scandal and how they really targeted this couple in a very malicious and disgusting way. And I didn't know that was them. And I didn't even know that happened. I mean, what bubble did I live in that I didn't even know about that? Anyhow, she has a website, e-commerce bites, and it talks about sellers and reselling and e-commerce. And she emailed me today and told me that she did she posted an article, and it was featuring one of my videos, and it was also highlighting one of the commenters on my channel, Jet Fixer, and about some of the information that he has recently come into and shared with me, and then I highlighted it like I do. I try to, I want this to be a place, I do read every single comment, and anytime I feel that there's a comment that is so important that it needs to be emphasized, because I know it's very difficult to go through and read all the comments. So it really should be the job of the YouTube channel owner to, when we get a comment that needs to be shared, it's on us to go ahead and, highlight it, discuss it, because you just never know what's going to come back out of that and how discussions are going to spawn. So I will link that article, that webpage. I just thought that was super awesome. It's like, whatever we're building here, and it is the word is getting out. And so I just always want you guys to feel that, you can email me, you can leave a comment, and it's not just going to fall on deaf ears. I'm going to do my best, because we are all in this together, and there's power in solidarity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The final topic that I wanted to talk about tonight was kind of give some thoughts on Commonwealth's Kevin, his Saturday video. In it, he talks again about how he had another item taken down, and it's a little different from the last one, and he didn't get a suspension. But he is one of the group of the larger YouTubers out there in the reselling community, and he's probably one of the only larger ones that I watch. I just can't relate to a lot of the other ones. No names being mentioned. It's not necessary, really. It's just, I actually, about 5-6 weeks ago, I was kind of convinced that Kevin was not really speaking out against eBay, because I just thought maybe he was in eBay's pocket. I know that kind of sounds nuts. And I left a comment on Saturday's update, his video, kind of telling him, I owe you an apology, even though you didn't know that I thought this. And I commented on him being able to come out and talk about some of the challenges that eBay has caused him, because if it can happen to him, it can happen to anybody. And a lot of what has happened to him, a lot of it is just, I think it's the way eBay handles things. The judge, jury, and executioner kind of role that they have, that if they could shift how they treat their sellers, it would go a long way to creating stability, creating peace of mind for sellers, and just creating a better partnership, eBay sellers. I don't think they think of us as being in a partnership with them. It's funny because Maria goes, well, don't they think of you as partners? I'm like, no. I'm like, isn't there anywhere in the literature? I'm like, I think you're thinking of YouTube, the YouTube partner program. I'm like, they kind of, and I've not been with you. I've only been with YouTube for 4 months, so I don't have any issues with YouTube right now. I'm like, I don't think eBay thinks of us as partners, even though we do bring in the money, even though they don't see that. But so let me just recap. So Kevin has had his store examined and his funds put on hold for no explanation, no reasoning. And what I'm telling you is only what I know from what he has said. So I think we all have to know that anything that a YouTuber says is only one side of the story. And I hope that it's I'm just naive, and I think, when people tell a story, they're telling all the parts. But I have no reason to think that what Kevin has shared is not the whole story. He had an item taken down in a 3-day suspension, and I'm a little unclear as to how he listed it. But my problem, if I'm understanding it correctly, is he got a 3-day suspension because of a prior violation that they didn't elaborate on what that violation was. Now, I have issues with that because we're all going to get violations, 100%. There is no way to avoid it. I can't even think of a category that is completely safe that you would never get a violation in. So that's my issue, is eBay just doesn't communicate with you and say, hey, you might want to change this. They just take it down and give you a 3-day suspension. And the fact that he doesn't know if the previous policy violation was a year ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 years ago. So we can't expect to sell. And I think as resellers, especially those who go full time, we're looking at this from the long term. Like, we're not looking at it like we want to grow our store, we want to grow our earnings. We don't want to have it just pulled out from underneath us based on some arbitrary decision or a bot or a malicious eBay buyer who reports an item because they're offended by something. That's a whole nother can of worms. And then he got an item taken down recently. There were some matches, and if I'm understanding it correctly, he got it taken down because of the way the shipping was stated. And they were saying that he can't sell this item. Now, had he had it listed, had he had the shipping and handling a different route, maybe it wouldn't have been taken down, maybe it would have. I don't know. And he since, in the video, he gave an update and he said that he was able to get that resolved, and I think he said he was able to get it relisted. But it's the way they go about taking down items, and I don't think he didn't get any I don't know. I don't know if he got a defect on his account or if he did and then he got it removed. But it's these defects and these strikes and these that they're and eBay does, they basically say, don't respond to this message. And it's like we don't even get a chance to kind of plead our case or, explain what's happening, or they don't communicate with you, before they give you a defect or just what's going on. And I think that's all we want, is to be able to be treated and be able to listing. You don't know how many things I am passing up these days, or how many things I've taken down, and just because, and I'm probably overreacting, but it makes you super paranoid about, like, for example, I've got these hats, these Harley Davidson hats. Like, so this one, this is the label. Now on this one, it actually has a Harley Davidson label. But I don't know, I've heard so many horror stories about Harley Davidson hats. I'm not listing these on eBay anymore. I mean, I bought them because I like to buy kind of like good franchise brand names of things to sell, but there's no way I'm listing those on eBay. And there's so many things now. I'm just like, nope, not going to chance it. Not because maybe we're just in this crazy period where it's the AI bots are kind of like running rampant, and I'm just trying to get through this period. Like I'm going to regret saying this. I haven't had any recent counterfeit claims. But I feel like it's only a matter of time, right? So getting back to Kevin's situation, and he's openly admitted that he wants to take that 90% of his earnings are on eBay, and he wants to get that level down to 65 and kind of spread his risk out. And I mean, I know a lot of people that are doing that, and this has to be impacting eBay's bottom line. It just absolutely, there's no way around it. I mean, literally, James was just saying how he could see, or he was speculating that he might actually make more money on Poshmark in the future if what he is seeing continues, as he gets more of his items listed on Posh. That is crazy. So there's no continuity, there's no recourse when it comes to eBay. They don't even want to talk to you. And then, oh yeah, so he was able to relist those matches. But and he did mention that it seems like eBay's having a lot of issues with that. Like the people that he was speaking with, seems like this has been happening a lot. So between the Veros counterfeits, the AI bots running wild, hey, that sounds like a college video. AI bots run wild. Between search problems, the new vision that eBay seems to be going in, I think we're kind of in the dark ages of reselling right now. I'm hoping 3 years from now, we all look back and we're like, ooh, that was pretty rough. Those were some lean times. And it's my hope, and I am still very hopeful, that either through pivoting and making changes in your business, whether it's, selling more offline, whether it's cross-listing, whether it's, whatever you got to do to, just survive through this period. I'm really hoping that eBay can get their stuff sorted out, get it fixed. Or the other day I was talking about, a vision of some sort of resellers network website. Nothing that I know how to do, but it's just, I really do believe that there is a need. There is a deep, deep need for sellers to have some sort of alternative. And a viewer reached out to me this weekend, and he's got some ideas. So who knows? Maybe you're witnessing the birth of something. Maybe nothing, right? But it's better to do something, or it's better to at least talk about things and put it out there and see who you can create something with. I will be getting back with you. You know who you are. And I'll end this by saying, again, anybody, my email is always in the description. I read every comment. I'm definitely going to read every email. You can share things with me. If, I want this to be a place where you feel that you can have a voice. I will definitely share experiences as well that I feel other people need to hear. This is interesting, guys. I thank all of you. Peace and blessings. I hope you had a great weekend of sales. And we will talk to you soon, guys. Take care.